Mannen Clements was a man who was familiar with trouble most of his life. Mannen Clements seems to have been the leader of the violent and ruthless Clements Gang, a group of brothers and cousins active on the Texas frontier and owning a cattle ranch in Gonzales, Texas. Mannen was a first cousin to John Wesley Hardin. Lawlessness ran in the family. Mannen was known as a rancher, outlaw, and gunfighter, a romantic description, but one that fit. He was also a private in Company B of the 1st Texas Volunteer Cavalry. Emanuel, Mannen Clements, was born in Texas in 1845 to Emanuel D. Clements and Martha Balch Clements. He married Molly Robinson in 1866 in Gonzales, Texas. They had 2 children, Manny and Sally. Sally married the notorious killer Killin' Jim Miller, who allegedly met Sally while working for Mannen on his ranch in McCulloch County, Texas. In March of 1871, 26-year-old Mannen was in charge of a cattle herd going north. His cousin, J.W. Hardin, was with another herd. 2 brothers, Joseph and Adolph Shadden, were hired as drovers with Mannen's herd. The brothers decided they didn't want to follow the orders of their trail boss and eventually threatened Clements. Clements killed both brothers, but exactly how was never determined. Hardin reported it as a stand-up gunfight. Several years later, at the time of the famous feud in Texas, known as the Sutton-Taylor feud, a correspondent familiar with the feud claimed Mannen killed the Shadden brothers in their sleep. 2 very different versions that give diverse impressions on who was Mannen Clements. He had various charges against him in Gonzales, Texas, such as theft and assault and battery, but was not convicted. Some say that in 1872 he helped John Wesley Hardin escape from a Gonzales jail. In 1877, Clements found himself in jail in Austin, Texas, along with Hardin, Bill Taylor, Johnny Ringo, and members of the Sam Bass Gang. After his cousin J.W. Hardin went to Huntsville prison for murder, Mannen kept in touch with Hardin's wife, Jane. In a letter to her, dated October 1878, he expressed good wishes to her and the children, and signed the letter, "Your cousin until death." They gave the appearance, anyway, of being a close family. Clements' success at cattle ranching in 1880, McCulloch County, Texas, left some of his neighbors suspicious as to how he was accumulating his wealth. However, he seemed to have settled down to a quieter life and got along relatively well with his neighbors. He died by the gun in 1887 in the Senate Saloon at the hands of Joseph Townsend, the deputy sheriff of Ballinger, Texas. Mannen attempted to prevent the deputy from drawing on his friend and drew his own pistol, but the deputy sheriff got off the first shot, striking Mannen just above the left eye. He was dead in a matter of seconds. His own gun, in his death grip, was at full cock. His son, Manny Clements Jr., also died violently, shot by an unknown assailant at the Coney Island Saloon, El Paso, Texas, 1908, at the age of 40. Mannen Clements shows up in the movie Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner. Mannen is the head of a trail crew that attempts to enter Abilene and has a verbal clash with Wyatt in the street. Mannen takes the high road, and the cowboys do not ride into town with their guns. He also shows up in an episode of the TV show Wyatt Earp with Hugh O'Brien. Mannen Clements is buried in the Cox Cemetery, a large, mostly treeless graveyard north of Brady, Texas. The original headstone is cracked and punctuated with moss. The engraving was scratched by an unknown hand in capital letters. A newer headstone lays at the feet of the original with this inscription: Mannen Clements, February 26, 1845. March 29, 1887. Borders, Texas Cavalry, CSA.